Question 25, which was worth 8 marks. This was a tough question, but easy marks if students knew their content. Was describe the path the blood takes in one complete cycle around the body. So describe, provide the characteristics and the features. So the characteristics and the features of the path that the blood takes in one complete cycle around the body. 8 marks, expectation being that all those marks would be filled up here. So we're going to have a look at our part of the syllabus, circulatory system, pulmonary and systemic circulation. That's the part we're talking about with our flow of blood around the body. We look at our sample answer. First thing for me is that there's probably a little bit too much underlining, even though most of the parts that are underlined are key parts of the flow of blood around the heart. So, as the deoxygenated blood enters the heart through the superior or inferior vena cava. Now, a lot of students left out inferior vena cava. I was really looking to have both in there. A lot of students mentioned superior, but they needed both superior or inferior. As we know, it comes from, the superior being the top, inferior being the bottom. The blood flows back in. It goes into the right atrium. Now, remembering when we are describing the heart, it's as the heart sits within our chest, not as we look at it. So a lot of students confuse their right side and their left side, but for this answer, it's very good. So it goes into the right atrium through the tricuspid valve. Students confuse the tricuspid and bicuspid, had them on the wrong sides. But again, it was nice to see that some of this terminology being used. And into the right ventricle. So there's the first two chambers of the heart covered completely. Into the pulmonary artery, into the pulmonary artery, which is when the blood is sent to the left and right lung, or to each left and right lung, which is where the exchange of gases occurs. So it's even been able to tie in a little part of the exchange of gases, and it sends off to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. As the blood enters the heart through the pulmonary vein, so now it's come back to the heart, it is now oxygenated blood. So we've started off by showing deoxygenated blood at the beginning. Now he's talking about after it being from the lungs, is now oxygenated blood. The blood goes into the heart via the pulmonary vein into the left atrium through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle. Through the aortic valve to the aorta, which is where the blood goes to the body. As the blood leaves the heart, it goes to all the working muscles in the body to give them oxygen and hemoglobin to help perform. This process is repeated for the rest of our lives. That's an excellent answer. He started off with deoxygenated blood at the top here. He's covered all the 4 chambers of the heart have been covered. He's looked at all the main arteries and the veins. He's gone through the aorta. He spoke about the valves. He's even explained oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. He's tied in the exchange of gases. That's the path. So this answer would be describing the path that blood takes in one complete cycle. So that's an excellent response and very, very well structured. So well done to this student. Again, the concern I had was people had the wrong side of the heart. They had the ventricles up the top, and they had the atriums down the bottom. And they had the bicuspid valve on the right, and the tricuspid valve on the left, and they had, deoxygenated blood going out to the body, and they just spoke too much about the flow of the respiratory system and the intake of air through our mouth, down through our larynx, pharynx, trachea, into our bronchioles and into our alveoli. Again, not what the question was asking. This question was all about one complete cycle that the blood takes. And again, for 8 marks, students need to do a lot better than this. It was a poorly answered question by most students. But very well done to this student and a number of other boys who gave a good response as well.